right, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About This. I am your host, Crystal Hicks. My guest today is Mr. Angelo Ellerbee. He's in the new magazine that's called Out Magazine as an honoree. He is now one of the publication's top 100 storytellers and leaders for 2024. As you may be aware, Angelo's new motivational book, Before I Let You Go, is an Amazon #1 bestseller. It remains in the top 20 in at least three categories on that platform. Before I Let You Go was written to inspire those to reach higher in their goals for self improvement and betterment. And throughout his 50 plus years as a top public relations artist development leader, Mr. Ellerbee's philanthropic work has benefited the LGBTQIA community as well as the HIV and AIDS research. Welcome back to the platform, Mr. Ellerbee. Angelo. How are you?
Let's talk about it, Crystal. Let's
That's
talk
right.
about it.
Let's talk about it.
So
I'm
let
glad
me
to
tell you, I'm so very proud of you. I'm
thank you.
proud of the efforts that you put out to service your community and your listeners and your viewers. I think it's phenomenal what you're doing, and I just want to say bravo, bravo, bravo to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I remember the last time you was on here, I was at what, 10,000 subscribers? And look at us
Girl,
now.
you had
Look, we at
yeah,
we almost 35,000 subscribers now. Look at us.
that's what I'm you know what, Crystal, let me tell you, it's not about winning every race, Crystal. It's
Mhm.
about staying in the race. Because if
That's
you
what
stay
it's
in the
about.
race, you gotta eventually win. And look,
That's true.
if you think it, then you can do it. And that's what you've been doing. So I applaud your efforts.
Yes, yes. And I took a lot of tips from you last time you was on the platform because I remember you was saying that it's all about being consistent. And
Yes.
and that's what I've been doing, just staying consistent. There are days I wanted to give up. I tell you, some days
But you
I
know what? And then that's when you got to call on God. You got to call
Yep.
on God. So you know
Hmm.
that there's many days that I've chosen to give up. But you
Right.
know what? I got to rebuke the demons that flourishes in my life, and I got to claim victory through God. And
Hmm.
God is the one that energizes me and motivates me and encourages me and inspires me to be great. And
Right.
that's what I'm saying to you, and that's what I'm saying to your listeners. The
Right.
demons come in disguises. Sometimes they come as your husbands, your wives, your daughters, they come.
They
They come in disguises. And you have to understand the importance of who you are and what God has given to you. I tell people every single day that I'm romantically in love with Angelo Ellerbee. I
hmm
love me some me. Because when I love me, I can love Crystal and I can love all of her constituents and her followers because I know what it is to be loved. I
hmm
know what it is for someone else to give me a hug, to give me a handshake, to tell me that everything is going to be all right. That's what I need in my life. I don't need no negative bodies in my life telling me why you doing this and you've been doing this for 50 something. You know what? I'm gonna continue to do it until he calls upon me because I really believe what I do is his work and his word. And that's what I trust in.
That's right. Yeah, you definitely got to put your trust in God. I'm telling you. And that's what I had to do too. I had to put my trust in God, put my faith, and then I had to get the courage, the
Yeah.
courage, just to get out here and speak and give something. Because sometimes you could question yourself and be like, who am I to give people information when I ain't got myself to? But I got to remember, I'm not perfect, and I'm on this. We all
And
on this
nobody
journey
is.
together.
Nobody is, Crystal. Nobody
Yeah.
is. Nobody's perfect. If they're perfect,
Hmm.
I'm running. I'm gonna
That's
put on
right.
my sneakers and I'm gonna run away from you because you telling me you perfect. The only person that I know is perfect is the man upstairs.
That's it.
I don't want to know nobody else that says or claims that they're perfect in life
Hmm.
because we all are fallible. We all make mistakes. What we got to stop doing as individuals is stop judging people.
Hmm.
Stop bullying people.
Right.
Stop segregating ourselves from people and begin to trust in people and allow them to make their mistakes in life. Because
Hmm.
we all go to church? Go to church because we're sinners
Hmm.
and we want to get right by the man.
That's right.
And so we go to church to get our souls saved. We ain't got no rights to judge nobody or bullet nobody or separate from anybody. We
Hmm.
go to church to serve in his work and his word, and to be uplifted by his word.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So you've been in, for those who don't know, you've been in this industry. Let me take my glasses off. You've been in this industry for a long period of time as a public relations person who's helped develop a lot of industry artists' careers.
Yes.
For those who don't know, give them a list of some of the people you work with in the industry. You've been around for a long time. I remember back in the day when I was doing freelance journalism for the Nubian News, and I would come to New York just to interview some of the people, some of your artists. So let the people know about Angelo Ellerbee that they
Sure.
don't
So
know.
I started my business in the corners of my mother's basement in Newark, New Jersey, and I went to work for a record label called Chrysalis Records, where I worked with Gangstar and a numerous and Laura Branigan, a list of artists that we were representing as a label. And then I went to venture into wanting to own my own company. While we had double exposure in the basement of my mother's house, and I had this young, wonderful girl working with me named Kathy. She was mandating and she was really overseeing the day-to-day functions of double exposure while I was out working at Chrysalis.
Mm-hmm.
I then decided that I was walking down the street one day and I looked up and I saw this second floor where it says 2,500 square feet. And I said, these white folks is not going to allow me, this black man, to come inside. Let me call my Italian lawyer. It was an
Mm-hmm.
Italian restaurant that was on the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
I called my Italian lawyer and I said, I don't want to go in the building. I want you to go in the building and I want you to take some pictures for me. He came downstairs. He says, it's really a nice place. It has a kitchen, it has 3 or 4 bathrooms, it has blah, 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 blah. So I said, okay, let's get it. But I ain't have no money.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't have one red penny. I didn't have one red dime. He says, what, Angel, how are you going to do this? I called somebody in Switzerland, this guy who's been calling me, and he was looking for records by name recording artists. And there was a group called Bow-Legged Lou and all of them. What was it? Bow-Legged, it was
Oh,
whatever the name.
the Force MDs?
Full, yeah, no, Full Force, Full
Full
Force.
Force. That's right. Okay.
And I asked him, I said, do y'all got any records over there that y'all not using and you want it, blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah, Angel, we got a hold. I said, hold on. And I called this guy up from Switzerland and they had a conversation and they settled on a record.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm looking for the percentage because I think they sold it for like maybe 40. No, they must have sold it for $100,000 because I got $38,000.
Right.
That's how I moved into my office on 7th Avenue. I didn't have a dime,
Mm.
but I had belief, I had faith, and I asked God. So we moved into this location with no money. But I do believe and wholly and solidly believe that it was God's blessing that I was able to do this. And he found a avenue for me to pay this. We must have paid the rent for maybe 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
The 9 months was going to hold me. It was so funny. It was the funniest thing. And once we moved into this place, the receptionist was sitting at the front desk and she called me and she said to me, she says, John LeRae is here. Now, John LeRae was the owner of the building. So he thought my name is Angelo Antonio. That's
Mm-hmm.
what was on the lease.
Mm-hmm.
So he thought when he came through that door, he was going to see this white boy named Angelo Antonio.
Right.
But he walked through the door and he said, am I in the wrong office? I said, no, you came to see Angelo Antonio, right? He said, yeah. I said, well, here I am in living color.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this man's face turned red to know that he had leased this out to this black man for 9 months. And after the 9 months, I paid them for another 9 months because I knew they didn't want me there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm there now. And so we manifest double exposure at that stage of the game. I started it from my mother's basement in
Mm.
Newark, New Jersey. And from that, I expounded to go into New York City and do what it is that I knew that I could do. And it
Mm-hmm.
was no more than faith. It was faith to simply say that we can conquer this and we can do
Right.
this. And I
Yeah.
had a wonderful friend by the name of Byron Barnes, who was this incredible believer in Angelo Ellerbee. And I was like, well, Byron, I want to do this. I want to do that. As you know, I got $4,000 left. He said, all right, let's take that $4,000 and make it work. He
Right.
said, the most important thing that I want is for your office to be incredible. I want it to be fabulous. And he created my office. My favorite color, I guess you could tell, is white.
Right. Yeah.
And he created my office into an all white office, white carpeting, white couch. Everything was just incredible. It was beautiful. And people would come from all around just to come into my office to see what it looks like. We understood the importance of first impressions being the lasting impression.
Mm-hmm.
And when people, particularly when you talk about the only Black man on Seventh Avenue, it was really important that we made a presentation to everyone of every pigmentation that we got this right. And so
Right.
my friend Byron did an incredible job from my office straight on through because it was a floor. He created like a vision for each particular individual office. And as we didn't have many accounts when we opened up, but people would come and say, wow, if this is what they're about, and was what we were about is about the business and about the ambiance of creating image, they came.
Right.
They came and then it was double exposure. We started out with the Dionne Warwicks and the Whitney Houstons and the Shabba Ranks and the Patras and the Cobras and the Marleys, and then we went into Mary J. Blige and Alicia Keys and Jodeci, and then we went into it went on and on. I was sitting back with my assistant a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "How many artists did I entertain over the 55 years?" He said it was 6,580
Wow.
artists that have gone through my door. And we were not, I always looked at double exposure as a one-stop kind of shop. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't look at it as just a PR firm. Everybody wants to call me the publicist to the stars, but I think that the company was much more than that. It was a one-stop kind of shop. We
Mm-hmm.
went into what would be marketing. We went into marketing was really, really important to me, and the promotions, the press, and then we went into the management of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And I took each particular area, and then it was also, I should say, the artist development. I went into each particular area with an understanding that my people who looked like me did not know anything about the music industry,
Mm-hmm.
and that the elders of the music industry had been so whitewashed that they wanted to emulate what white folks was doing to Black folks. So they
Mm.
wasn't teaching or educating or motivating anyone. They would do it. They were stealing and robbing and being thieves, just like those people who didn't look like you or I.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took on the responsibilities of, I thought, educating and motivating them, teaching them how to read and write, telling them about contractual understandings. And then I would magnify to them that word called perpetuity. Perpetuity is a word that is it's a dangerous language, a
Mm-hmm.
dangerous word, because that means forever and ever and ever that they can use your likeness, that they can use your no with no pay. So if they paid you $10, they can use that and make money off of that until you could be underneath the dirt in your ground, and they still can make money off of you.
Wow.
So I was willing to teach them the importance of reading the contractual understandings. And I said, well, if you don't understand it, ask your lawyers to break it down to a third grade education where you can comprehend and understand what you're signing. This
Mm-hmm.
was the important thing for me. And then I got into like diction and speech and mannerisms. I believe which You know, white folks have a way of putting you in a category. First impression is the lasting impression.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't look good, you got to look good
Right.
because that's how they go to judge you. They
Yeah.
don't judge you by your ability to speak. They judge you on the first presentation. You
Right.
get in the elevator with them, they're going to grab their pocketbooks
Yeah.
and they're going to look at you like you got five heads. But when you look like them and you are like them, then they are, and they don't look at you strange. I just remember many years ago, Berry Gordy started what was Motown Records. And our music, Black music, was really called beach music.
Mm-hmm.
Beach music was where only Black people can hear it on the Black radio stations. And he didn't want to limit himself or his artists to beach music. So he wanted to find out what was it going to take for them to be accepted world over in every particular household. And he said, maybe they need to look like them. They need to speak like them. They need to walk like them. They need to talk like them. And
Mm-hmm.
so what he created was a artist development division with choreography, with mannerisms, with diction, with speech, with all the things that one needed to have in order to win in white America.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you got the Diana Rosses and you got the Supremes, you got the Temptations, you got Mary Wells, you got all of these people who are now being accepted into every household. That's only because when you're in Rome, you do what the Romans do. When you're
Mm-hmm.
in America, you do what the Americans did. And he was astute enough to understand what it took to win in white America. And it was. You could sing about love, baby love. You could sing about all of that. But at the
Right.
end of the day, it had to be appealing to the crossover markets. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
happened. And so I did no more than emulate what Mr. Berry Gordy did back in the 50s and 60s to create a 24-week artist development program that spoke the same. My only thing was I was different. I was different to the point where Barry Gordy didn't talk about publishing or recoupments or taxation. That's what that I spoke about.
Mm-hmm.
I think that so many of our artists today are at loss because they do not pay their taxes. They do not understand their taxation. They do not understand what recoupment is. They
Right.
do not they understand the publishing rights, the split. Those are the things that I focused in on. And what I would do is that I would get all of these various people from all the various sectors of taxation, of accounting, of I would bring them in and let them do 2 hour sessions to teach these kids that mm, these are the things you need to look out for.
Mm.
So yeah, that was my beginning. My
Right.
motive was to really stimulate these young kids. You know, I've never sold a record a day in my life. I don't sell records.
Right.
And if you come to my apartment, if you come to wherever I'm at, I don't have no records on my wall because I don't sell no music. I sell talent.
Right.
That's what I sell. I sell talent. I'm not into the music.
Mm-hmm.
Mary J. Blige used to say to me, why is it that you don't listen to music and why don't you don't read bios? So I said, because bios ain't nothing but a bunch of lies
Mm-hmm.
that I create to sell you.
Mm.
But I'm going to call your mother and I'm going to talk to your mother. I'm going to talk to your father, your sisters, and your brothers. So I get the real deal as to who you are as an artist and as an individual.
Right.
And then we can write a bio from that. I mean, we can, or when I go to talk to people, I got the main ingredients of who you are as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Music, I ain't listening to no music because the music is I want to know the person.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the mere essence of what double exposure is about. It's a one-stop kind of shop. And
Yeah.
after 55 years of doing this, I kind of think I got it. And I don't want anyone to think because I say 55 years that I'm old and dated. I'm
Right.
not old. I'm not dated. I have
Right.
young, innovative individuals around me that employ me with the mere street facts. I get
Mm-hmm.
it.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, and because when you talk to these young kids today, hey niggas, oh no, 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 don't get it wrong. Don't get it wrong. I got it, and I
Right.
understand it.
Right.
And it is a collaboration of what is old is what is new. That's what makes the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of these today, a lot of artists aren't being developed. They're getting discovered online, and they're just getting pushed out there based on the followers that they have.
yeah.
And they're not getting the development that they did back in the day.
Well, the thing
You
is
know.
that yeah, while I appreciate the independencies of record companies and production companies, they're remiss in not including what is the development of an artist.
Mm-hmm.
They do record development, they don't do artist development.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need. We need that more now than ever. But
Right.
you see, we have been so whitewashed to think that artist development or teaching or educating these young artists is a do or don't. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not secure in their positions and they don't want these artists to be astute enough to understand the difference in right and wrong. And I'm saying if you're doing right business, teach them rightly.
Right. Yeah.
Don't be afraid of teaching them the whole skim of what is going on in the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm.
scary. It's really scary, particularly in this day and time.
Yeah.
Every There's a difference in being ambitious and being ambitious.
Right.
And a lot of our artists at the latter, they're more ambitious than they are ambitious.
Mm.
Ambitious is means you all over the map. You just going around and around. Ambitious is having a focus, a direction to get the job done.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Well, how I'm trying to figure out how are artists I mean, with social media now, you don't need the big production music videos anymore. And I guess as you could see, the artist development because they're just discovering people on social media. My thing is, how are people making money with record sales? That's what I want to know.
So
Like,
let me get you to understand. Social media is a magnet and it does help to sell records, but
mm-hmm,
it's also going back to the old way of doing things.
right,
You gotta have some money when you say I'm independent. You have to
mm-hmm,
have money for independent radio, independent marketing,
right,
independent merchandising, all that stuff, and I can go on and on and on. Those
mm,
things cost money.
right,
And then you got to talk about, oh, my wardrobe, you got to talk about my hair, my all those things cost money. This
mm-hmm,
industry is making more money now than it ever has. If it wasn't making any money, it wouldn't be existing.
right, right,
So when you have the live streams and you have this, you have that, people are making money. But
right,
the artist has to take the time to understand how they're making money.
mm,
They don't understand anything about streaming. They don't wind up getting their money from streaming because they don't know nothing about streaming.
mm,
You got to understand what that white man is doing to you.
that's
And yes,
true.
I am saying it. You need to understand what that white man is doing to you. And
Mm,
you got to understand what that black man is doing to you.
mm,
You got to invest and pour into yourself to understand. Set the singing and the rapping to the left hand side of your life and get into the business of music.
right,
Understand what your publishing is, understand what your royalties are, understand the taxes, understand all those things because the big picture of everything is
mm-hmm,
what we all, when you get to be my age, we talk about Social Security benefits, right?
mm-hmm,
So, what you doing now in terms of all of the things that I just mentioned is called Social Security benefits. If you don't pay into it, you ain't getting nothing from it.
mm, mm,
And they got to understand that you got to put into this
yeah,
in order to get something from it. And the other side of it is don't lose yourself out on not investing in other situations. Into you got to maybe you need to look at real estate. Maybe you need to look at whatever the investments are. This is not a long time game.
yeah,
The game could be over and you'll be sitting out in the middle of the street, and the only one that's making money off of you is that white man.
That's
That white
true.
man is sending their art, they're sending their children, their grandchildren to the high universities for another part of education on your dime and on
Mm-hmm.
your nickel,
Yeah.
and you don't get it. And then you want to give away the whole damn storehouse before you can't give nothing away. Because when you go to give it away, you got nothing for the future, and they got
Mm,
everything.
that's true.
The incredible thing about what has happened, if you just go back in retrospect, Michael Jackson had the biggest publishing catalog in the world. They don't want you to get that powerful.
No.
And then what happened? Then what happened? Gone.
Yeah.
Off the face of this earth, right?
Mm,
These kids got to grow up and realize and
yeah.
recognize what this business is about. It's about the business of music before it's
Yeah.
about music.
It's 90% business and
Yeah,
10%
yeah, it
chef.
is. It is.
It's all about business, I learned that years ago when I was in management. I didn't stay in management that long because the artists I had, they was hard-headed. They didn't want to listen. They wanted to do their own thing, and I was putting
Child,
more.
they're still hard headed. They still,
Yeah,
you know what?
I was putting more
But the
time into
best,
them than they was putting in. I felt like I was the artist. I felt like I was working harder than they was.
the best lesson for any artist that is hard headed is experience.
Mm-hmm.
Go out there and fall like Humpty Dumpty did, and see if you can put all the pieces back together again.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you came to me because of my wisdom, my knowledge, and my. If you think you can do it better than me, then go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm. Right. What's the point of coming to you?
Well, I ask
Yeah.
that question every single day.
Yeah.
Oh, can you tell me why the social media is? No, Negro, relax,
Right.
relax, and let the
Uh-huh.
course let it take course.
Right.
And then if it doesn't work out, then ask me the questions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And don't get your father and your mother into it who ain't never managed nobody, and now you trying to be the manager going through the. Take a minute, get the right. First, it's first
Yeah.
what I want people to understand. It is an engagement,
Mm-hmm.
then a marriage, and then it's a courtship.
Right.
A courtship, engagement, and then marriage. You don't want anyone in your career that you have not courted and understand what he or she brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have understood what they're bringing to the table, then maybe we need to get into an engagement. We
Right.
need to understand what each other is about, and then finally we say, "Oh, damn, maybe this is the right person. Now we need to marry."
Mm-hmm.
But be careful when you're going to marry because you're going to marry them for 5 years, and whatever goes on, they're going to get a piece of your rock for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So it's a clear understanding of what this business is all about.
Yeah. And they take advantage of a lot of these artists because they come into the business just wanting to perform. They don't know anything about the business side of it. And that's where they get taken advantage of is the fact that they just want to perform. But
And
they
that's
got
what I'm
ex-
saying. But Crystal, what
yeah.
I'm saying to you, they got to stop wanting to perform and perform on the business side of it all.
Yeah.
I think
True.
one of the most phenomenal artists is Pharrell. Pharrell has seemingly taking the time to cultivate
Mm-hmm.
and understand what this industry is about, musically, financially, in
Yeah.
all respects. Our young kids today, they just want to be a star. And I tell them all, if you take the word star and spell it backwards, is that what you really going after?
Mm-hmm.
Because you just going after being a rat.
Right.
You need to really take your time. Everybody has his or her time to win.
Mm-hmm.
Be
Mm.
happy for each and every individual that is winning. Take the time and prepare yourself to win as well.
Yeah.
You got time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your thought on the gatekeeping in the industry? Where as for example, they use Diddy. They say Diddy was a gatekeeper. I don't know how true it is, based on, what you hear and read in the media, that he controlled the industry to a certain point to where you would not be able to get to a certain level in the entertainment industry unless you did certain things. Uh,
It's called bullshit.
mm-hmm,
You know what? You could fall into that delusion if you want to. Don't no one hold the key but you.
mm,
If you want to sit up there, see, that's the difference of being ambitious and being ambitious.
yeah,
And a lot of our young people want to be ambitious. They want it quick, fast, in a hurry.
right.
So if someone like him would sit and entertain them and whet their appetites to simply say, I can do ABC. If you do E, F, G, and H, you
Mm-hmm,
understand? You got to be able to say, you know what? I'll do it my way.
right.
I'll just do it my way. Anytime somebody has to like lead you in to
Mm-hmm,
something that you're not about, you know what? You know
yeah,
what you're about.
right.
You know what you're about. So if somebody is telling you to do A, B, C, and D, and you know that ain't what you're about, you need to walk away.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Or you stay there and go through it and don't talk about it. Don't talk
right.
about how this person did you wrong and this
Mm-hmm,
person did this and this person did. You know, when you invited somewhere, you know where you're being invited to.
right.
And you're going to do what you do because that's what you want to do.
Yeah, that's true. It's all about the choices. Yeah,
The
them
truth
choices.
ain't on strike.
Mm-hmm,
You came there knowing what it was. Don't come accusatory and blaming nobody because they put something in your drink. You go, why you stay there and let them put something in your drink?
mm,
You saw the atmosphere. You needed to say, you know what? I see it. Bye.
mm-hmm,
But don't sit back and become accusatory because you wanted to be the star. You
right.
wanted to be in the limelight. You wanted to associate with all these kinds of people. But this
Mm-hmm,
is what you're going to have to do in order to be that. Just
mm-hmm,
simply say no.
yeah.
It's just like the word perpetuity. You got to learn to say, nah, that ain't for me. I ain't working for free.
Mm-hmm,
Think
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, that's true. It's all about the choices. And sometimes
Yep.
people don't want to be accountable for their own actions, you know?
No, they want to become accusatory and put it on somebody else.
Yeah.
Look, whatever the right is and the wrong is, and with Sean Puffy Cone, it is what it is.
Uh-huh.
But the bottom line for me, you go into these situations knowing what the damn the situation is. Why are you there?
Right.
Why are you there? Get out of there
Mm-hmm.
if that ain't what you do.
That's true. Nobody pulled you by the hand.
Don't come 3 years down the road and I want to sue him because he did. Get out.
Yeah. That's
That's how
simple
I
as
see it.
Yep, simple as that. I'm telling you. Yep. So tell me about your work with the LGBTQIA community and the things that you've been doing as far as the outreach and HIV and AIDS research.
Well,
Mm,
I have been associated with my community for 50 years of my life. I've seen so many of my dear, loving friends go through the illness and the sickness, and I've seen what their parents have done to them when they find out that they're gay or they find out that they're sick, that they throw them out of the house. My thing is that I don't want to see any of God's children go out and have to sell their bodies in order to survive on the streets.
yeah.
So my foundation is, and I've associated with this foundation called the Wow Foundation that is in the city of Newark. And what we do is that we take those HIV and AIDS victims to come into the WOW situation. We give them 1 year, 1 year of housing. We give them, we find out what their goals or the expectations of their career is. We find them a job. We
Mm-hmm.
give them 3 meals a day, and we do this for a year. My thing is that it's about a give back.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give back, and you got to love these children, and it's not just children that are going through this. There's seniors that are going through this as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so my focus has been always to get back to that particular community.
Right.
I started out doing things in 1975 with doing fashion shows and raising consciousness and awareness in a straight community that had no understanding about this particular community. And I did fashion shows. My degree is in fashion designs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I lent out myself to all of my friends in fashion, from Beverly Johnson to Iman to Jeffrey Holder to Carmen de Lavalon. I said, how can I get to these kids? And then I said, oh, maybe Heavy D, maybe some of these rappers. Well, they will listen to these rappers more than they're going to listen to me. So we did a two-part fashion show that was hosted by Susan Taylor and the veteran actor Antonio Fargas. This is back in the 70s. But the kids had to go through 35 tables of instructors that were there, giving them brochures, giving them pamphlets on HIV and AIDS. Because nobody wants to say they're gay, nobody wants to say they're bisexual. We just gave out pamphlets so that they would learn about the disease, how it's detected, and the whole of the bit. After
Mm-hmm.
they went to those 35 tables of learning, they were able to come into the ballroom, sit back and enjoy Heavy D, and the boys enjoy um, Susan Till, Antonio Fargas, Carl Anthony Payne from The Cosby Show, from Martin to
Susan
Gina.
Taylor, she's the editor of Essence magazine,
She
right?
was, yeah, back then she was the editor in chief of Essence magazine.
Okay, yeah,
So we brought everybody together to celebrate our young kids and to educate our young kids about the awareness of HIV and AIDS.
yeah,
And I've been doing this now since 75 to this day.
yeah, yeah. You've been doing it for a long time, man.
Long, long, long time because I find it to be very, very important.
Yeah.
I find that people are so misunderstood with regards to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I want the world to understand that we're all God's children. And
Yeah.
we all need to understand that we must work and be collective.
Yeah. That is so true. That's what I say. Especially after this the results of the election. I think about the divisiveness that Donald Trump pushes when it comes down to the LGB, you know, uh GQA community and people of minorities and we have to stop this division. We all, like you said, we all God's children.
We all are
You know?
God's children. But you know what? See, the thing for me is that Miss Harris didn't lose no race. She applied herself into the race.
Right.
And as I said to you earlier, it's not about winning every race.
Yes,
It's
that's
about
true.
staying in the race.
Yeah.
She stayed in the race, and she has another turn at going for the race and winning and walking in the race.
Mm-hmm.
Things are what they are because they are what they are, and we
Yeah.
cannot question those. We will learn to live within the system that is being designed for us.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't look at no one as being losers. I look at everyone as being winners.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at everything as being an experience that we all are going to have to go through.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the same thing. Yeah. That's the same here. I'm not happy about the results, but
No, no, who
we
is?
have
But
to.
it is what it is. What
It
you gonna
is what
do?
it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, it is what it is. Let's talk about your book before I let go. Is this the first book you've written?
No, this is my fourth book.
Okay, all right.
This is my fourth book. My first book was was from Judith Reagan's publishing. It was What's Your Excuse?
Mm-hmm.
My second book was Axe Angelo. And then it gave all the DMX Axe Angelo, DM work, blah, blah, blah. Then my third book was A Sense of Success.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth book is now, Before I
Before
Let
I
You
let
Go.
you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you got to give me a little bit of detail about this book before I let you go.
Well,
What?
the book is really a template of my life. I try to tell people that I was born and raised in the city of Newark, that I looked to be the greatest city in the world, but it was one that was economically at a disadvantage. I came from a mother who had an eighth grade education, was a waitress, but I thought that she had a doctor's degree in humanitarian, being a humanitarian.
Mm-hmm.
I had two sisters that were drug addicts. I had a father that was alcoholic, but I seemed to pass all that by and stay focused because of the love and the genuine caring concern of my mother and my oldest sister, Rose. I stayed in the race because I wanted my mother to win. I wanted her
Mm-hmm.
to win. And how she was going to win is that I was going to enable her based on her survival skills that she gave to me. That was going to allow her to win as a mother, as another human being, and the things that she would tell me each and every single day. My mother used to walk in my room every morning from age 5 to about 15 years old, and she would knock on my door and she would say to me, my last born, because I'm the youngest of the six children, she would say, did I tell you this morning that I loved you? And I said, Mama, not at 6 o'clock in the morning. You ain't telling me that you love me, but I love you too. But that was the energy that I needed to have from my mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of times in our black and brown homes, we believe because mothers and fathers give us a roof over our head and clothes on our back that that means that they love us. That doesn't mean that they love us. I needed to hear my mother saying that I love you.
That's
You're my
important.
child. Yeah. That was the engine that
Yeah.
drove me to where I needed to be in my life.
Mm-hmm.
She respected me, she loved me, she cared for me, and she told me that. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have to assume that. I didn't have
Yeah.
to assume anything because she told it to me. And
Mm-hmm.
she told it to her other five children that I love you. She would knock on that door and go down that street to that restaurant and serve those white people those food and get that dime and that quarter tip.
Mm-hmm.
And when people say, why are you giving those waitresses all that money? Because that's what I was born and raised on.
Mm-hmm.
I went to college on my mother's tips.
Mm. Wow.
I grew up on my mother's tips.
Mm-hmm.
I lived the way I lived on my mother's tips. But my mother also gave me survival skills. She gave me some of the most important survival skills. And she would say to me, I want you just to fall in love with yourself.
Mm.
And I would say, Mama, what do you mean falling in love? She says, you got to love you before you can love me. You ain't can't love me if you ain't loving you.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, oh, that's kind of deep. She said, no, it ain't deep. It's real. And I think that it's important that people fall romantically in love with who they are. And I
Mm.
tell people every day of my life, I'm romantically in love with Angelo Ellerbee. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm in love with me because I want to love you, Crystal, and I want to love all your followers, and I want to love what loves me. I know who I am at this stage of the game. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to play games with anyone.
Right.
This is who I am, and
Yeah.
this is how you're going to receive me.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it was a bit challenging in growing up, but I think that my family gave me the fortitude to move progressively forward and claiming victory through my work. My mother always told us that we had to be contributors. You was not going to sit at her table and eat her food, lay in her bed, take up her heat if you was not contributing.
Right.
So when I was 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, I had to work. I
Yeah.
had to go to school, but she said, there's a supermarket around the corner. People need to have their cool food packed up. Take your ass around the corner and pack up that food when you get out of school.
Mm.
And on my quarters and my quarters and my quarters and my quarters. And then I would say, oh, Ma, I got $400. She said, good. Now we're going to put it in the bank. And when you want your coat for the winter time, when you want them sneakers, you want this, you want that, you got your money. I'll
Mm-hmm.
give you half and you make half.
Right.
Those were the key qualities of how she taught me about surviving in America. I don't know if she thought that she was not going to have a long life, but she wanted me to be able to survive here on this earth
Yeah.
and in America.
Yeah. So she taught you at an early age.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. She taught me at such an early age how to be a provider for myself,
Mm-hmm.
to be a contributor, and be responsible for my
Yeah.
actions. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be crippled. A lot of
No.
times, you can't always felt like, even with my children, they're adults now, but I always taught them that, you have to get out here and you have to do things on your own. You can't
On
depend
your
on me, because I'm not going to take care of you for the rest of your life. You got to learn how to survive on your own, and I'm not going to be a handout all the time because I don't want to cripple you later on in life.
they don't get it. They don't get it
Yeah.
until they get out there and have their own children.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wait, I tell you what, then you need to go have your own children and learn it your way. Because
Yeah.
I am not taking care of nobody that I'm not taking care of you. You're
Right.
grown. Take care of your damn self.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah.
started early. I started early. I started working my first job when I was 11 years old. I'll never
Yeah.
forget. I used to pick blueberries at a blueberry farm at 11 years old, and we got $2 for every crate. That was a lot of money for 11-year-old. So, my work ethics has been instilled in me for a long period of time. Like, you know, um, a lot of young kids don't know what work ethic is.
No, they don't, child. They don't. They don't. They
A
don't.
lot of these kids don't know what work ethic is. I'm
They
telling
don't.
you, because we bust our behind, you
Yes,
know.
we do, Crystal. We do. I
Yeah.
remember my mom used to send me down to North Carolina every year, summertime. And my aunts and my uncles would have blueberry farms or strawberry farms. They was no joke. They
Hmm.
sit your butt right out there every week. I mean, every day. You had to pick them.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes, moth, whatever it was out there. And it wasn't no bathtubs. It was a tub. They were
Hmm.
boiled water, and that's what you had to do. But, but these kids today that is not understanding what our forefathers did for them to persevere and live and exist in this day and time.
Hmm. Yeah.
It ain't got nothing to do with no old age and you old. No, Negro, you need to get up and be responsible for your actions. You
That's
need to get
right.
up and take care of yourself. You need to get up and take care of somebody else. And you need to understand that you can't go out here and make these babies if you can't afford them.
Yeah. I'm telling you. That's right. Yeah. You can't just be laying down, popping out these kids these
Yeah.
days.
And then when I put them back on the grandma's,
Hmm.
no, I just told you about my nephew. I don't do that.
Yeah.
No, you need to go and that's what you created, then you need to take care of that. I'm not taking care of your situation.
Hmm. Yeah. That's true. You got to be responsible. I know I used to tell my kids, I raised y'all, so you're gonna raise yours.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I'm with you.
Yeah, I know that's right. So you've been on the Out, is it Out magazine? You're
I am I think I'm the first
you are the
they
top
engage.
100 top 100
Yeah,
storytellers and leaders for
yeah,
2014.
yeah.
Wow.
Then I had a street be named after me in Newark.
Yeah, I remember.
Then I got the President Biden's honor this year.
Uh-huh.
Then I got my doctor's degree on my honorary doctor's degree. You know, God is amazing. When I tell you he's amazing, he's amazing.
Yes, he
There's
is.
so much stuff that has gone on in my life. And just in this year, it's been amazing to me.
Yeah.
My book is selling like I just never imagined in four different categories and being I'm impressed with God. How about that? I'm impressed with
Yes.
his work and his ability.
Yes, yes. Well, you deserve everything that's coming to you because you put in a lot of work for a long period of time. You work with so many artists in the industry and you help develop a lot of artists. And I know you said, who is one of the favorite artists you work with? Out of everyone you work with,
Do
who
you
do
know
you?
what? I don't have a favorite artist.
No?
I don't really have it. It's sort of like singing "Who's your favorite child?" I
Okay.
don't have a favorite artist, but I admire people and I respect people like Dionne Warwick. like Robert Bell, like Melba Moore, like Frankie Beverly. I respect those people who stood the test of time and
Mm,
that put in their time, their energy, and their pursuit to see their dreams turn into its realities. I
yeah,
respect those. I mean, but there's so many people. It's been over 6,500 artists that I've worked with during my career.
yeah.
These people seem to stand out because they endured the test of time.
Oh yeah, legendary artists, I
Yeah.
tell you. I know one thing. I miss a lot of the music that
Yeah, but
these days we don't get a lot of that good music like we did back in the day.
no, that I know.
Yeah, I miss a lot of that. So I find myself listening to 80s, 90s music a lot, 70s. I just uh oldies but goodies. Just
Uh-huh.
started listening to a lot of music. I always was around music all the time anyway. My mom was a singer, my dad was in a singing group, and every time we went to go visit my parents, my dad, first thing he'd do is put on his oldies but goodies.
Hey,
So,
baby.
we was
I
always
ain't mad
around
at him.
music.
I ain't mad at him.
Yeah. So music was always something that we always stood around in our childhood growing up. Now, tell me about your portions of the proceeds uh that are going to go to
The
the
Wild Organization.
the Wild
So,
organization. Is that from the proceeds from the book?
it's not portions. It's all proceeds from my book is going to the Wild Foundation.
Oh, okay.
That is the organization I spoke to you earlier about because I just want no one to go and have to sell their bodies to
Right.
live on this earth. And so,
Yeah.
therefore, whatever I sell, whatever comes my way in terms of the sale of the book,
Hmm.
that's where it's going to go.
Yeah. Well, you're a blessing into a lot of people's lives, I'm telling you. And that's why you continue to be blessed because you're
Yeah.
always blessing somebody. So that's amazing. I'm telling you. So
Yeah.
the book is a number one bestseller on Amazon. Okay, where else could people purchase the book? And
Just
just
tell
so
them.
people would know, it's called Before I Let You Go is the name of the book. And it's actually right
Yes.
behind you. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. You see it there. So,
Comes
yeah,
up.
my people were telling me, you don't show the book. You don't show the book. So I put it right there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so they can go to Amazon and select the book. There's the hard copy of the book, and then it's the paperback, and they have the ebook, and
Hmm.
we're now finishing up on the audio book. But they can
Okay.
go to Amazon and support the cause, support the cause because the cause is real and the cause is alive. So I
Yeah.
appreciate whatever they go to do to purchase this book in any configuration that they choose to.
I just went to Saturday. I just went to the Black Fairy Godmothers gala. I've been going for the last 3 years. And
Really?
yeah, it was amazing. Every year she puts on a beautiful gala. And
That's wonderful.
yeah, I think one year they were looking for you because they wanted to
I
honor
know.
you. Yeah.
I was homesick. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
She was telling me, she said, yeah, I really wanted, she said, Angelo Ellerbee does so much for so many people. He deserves to be honored. And yeah, we was looking forward. I was looking forward to you being there. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see him. I haven't seen him
Yeah.
in a while.
I was
Yeah,
very, very sick that year. Yeah, I remember it.
yeah, yeah. So she
She's a
does a lot
sweetheart.
of amazing work too for the
Yeah, she
community.
does. She really,
Yeah,
really does. She does. She's
yeah,
a good girl.
yes, she is. I
She's a
tell
good
you.
girl.
Yeah. Well, Angelo, it's been a pleasure having you back on again. It
Mm.
really has been. Love you
Thank
so
you so
much.
very much. I really
Thank you so
appreciate
much
you.
for all the opportunities you've given me in the past. And and for those who are watching and listening, make sure you purchase the book Before I Let You Go on Amazon. It's the number one bestseller right now, so y'all better get your copy. And
I appreciate you, Crystal.
and uh and one last thing I want to ask you, if you could give the audience some kind of positive message, because this is a this platform is kind of is based on mental health and wellness, and if you can give someone some kind of uplifting,
I
motivational
believe,
message
I
that,
believe, I believe,
yeah,
I believe, I believe, I believe, and I want them to believe and believe and believe in themselves.
yeah,
I do want them to encourage themselves to get closer to the man upstairs. I
mm,
want them to wake up in the morning and say, "Thank you, God.
yes,
Thank you, God. Thank you, God. May I please, God, join your journey of
mm,
life. I
yeah,
want to be with you. I want to continuously thank you for what you have done, not just for me, but for my family. If
mm,
I thank you, God, you told me then I can do it. And I'm doing what you said that I can think that I can do. I am merciful to your name. I gratify you.
mm,
I'm motivated by the will of God. And I thank you for all things through your work and your word. I
yeah.
am a follower of your journey. And I say thank you.
Yes, amen. That's right. Put God first. I tell you, that's the first thing I
Ciao.
do when I get up in the morning is I read a scripture, a daily scripture every day. That's how I start my day, and then I can just go on and start doing everything else. But yeah, definitely have to have God in your life because He gives us the guidance, you know.
Listen, that's all I
Yeah,
got. That's all I
yeah,
got.
yeah. Uh-huh. Well, thanks again, Angelo, for popping
I
in.
love
And
you. Thank you so much,
oh,
Chris.
thank you. And
All right, my love. Be
you
blessed now.
okay, you take care. And for
All
those
right,
who
my
are
love.
watching, make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel.
That's right. And listen, y'all. Y'all better like and subscribe to this channel.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Crystal.
You're welcome. You have a good one.
You too, darling. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.